and welcome to today's episode of Becoming the Product. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Naya, as usual. I hope your day is going on well. And today I have another lovely guest today that will be talking to us about AI product management. Without further ado, hello, Ash. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. And how are you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
My pleasure.
And we just want to hear your story, want to hear your journey of how you became an AI product manager. So could you just give us a brief history as to how you became a product manager and when you decided to specialize in AI?
Yes. So, I graduated 5, 6 years back, and in my college, I studied, computer science. So, it was at that time, I was first exposed to, AI. But during that time, I had mostly, read it from a more theoretical aspect. Like, I didn't really think of it, how AI can actually be applied in real industry use cases or in actual companies or startups. So that was the point in time where I got first introduced to AI. And then later on, I also did an internship, which was also in AI. But at that point, it was all theoretical. And then, I became I was like a software developer for a while, but then I figured that I missed the more human aspect, of being at work, because when you are working in a very pure engineering role, then you are a bit away from the actual user. So I had I used to enjoy sort of being able to communicate with other teams and being able to lead them and get things done. But I was not able to do that much when I was a programmer. So at that time, I sort of decided to go into product management. And to be able to go into product management for the first time, I think it's not impossible at all. And in fact, if you set your mind to it, if you prepare and study a bit of online courses for 2-3 months, I'm sure anyone can go into product management, especially people who are already maybe in a business analyst background or data engineering background or other kinds of engineering backgrounds as well, or maybe even from other fields. So it's relatively doable to get into product management. So that was the first time I got into product management, and then I was working there for 3-4 years. And then later on, I moved into more into AI product management. And this was before ChatGPT and everything became famous. So it was before that, because I started to see that, many of these big companies, they had a special PM role called the data PM. So the data PM is in essence an AI and ML PM. And because AI ML, the basic foundation is based upon just the data itself. So a lot of time when you are working on AI ML products, the major portion of your time, nearly 70%, is going to go into just collecting that data and cleaning it and sort of analyzing it. And only for a very less part of the time do you actually develop an ML algorithm. So that's a very small portion, and a large part of it depends on the data itself. So many of the very big companies, I'm not just talking about the FANG companies, but more Booking.com and Trivago and Airbnb and all these companies. So they make very extensive use of data, and I saw that there was a lot of companies who were building their own AI ML products. So at that time, I sort of decided to just brush up some of my AI skills, and also just learn more practical skills related to data and AI. And then eventually I was able to, get into an AI ML based company. So yeah, I think that was my journey so far.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much. It's interesting to know that it actually has more to do about the data aspect of building the AI product itself. And if someone wants to become one,
Yeah.
like if you're already a product manager and you want to specialize into AI, what does the person need to do? Like, do you have any tips?
Yes. So I think, like, an AI PM is just like a more advanced version of, like, a data PM. And in
Yeah.
general, what happens is that if you work at companies, so there are mostly, 2, 3 kinds of AI ML products which are in general there. And the most common AI ML product, which is generally found in companies, is where you want to study user behaviors and then be able to make the user experience better. So the most common AI ML product is just like, building like a recommendation engine and stuff like that. And the second most common is that when, we want to optimize the internal processes within your company. You want to, like, just automate a few processes within your company. So that is like the second most common use case. And like the third most common use case is when you are, like, building an entirely new AI ML product from scratch. So that is like relatively less common. But like, these 2, 3 are like the main, kind of AI ML products which are there mostly in all of the companies. And now if anyone wants to become a product manager specializing in AI, so I think they should first, like, set aside, like, 2, 3 months time. I mean, if you are, suppose you are a PM already in some company, so you obviously are busy in your day job and everything. But like, if you take out some time each day, and then if you study AI, if mostly you should study machine learning, because, like, an AI is just like a more broad and general term. But actually, what we actually do in the companies and in real life is actually machine learning. So it is machine learning which you need to learn. So for that, like, there are 1 or 2 courses on Coursera, which are especially for, like, PMs who want to break into AI. And I myself have also done that course, and it is very excellent, and it is very suitable for PMs because, it's not programming. Because in general, if you take any machine learning course, they go straight into, like, write programs and create Python scripts, and that can be really overwhelming and scary. And PMs don't need to do that a lot. So that you can find like a couple of courses on Coursera or on Udemy, which are like, a special AI courses just for PMs, because then they teach you all the concepts and they tell you how to manage, like, AI ML products from the start till the end, and how you define the metrics, and which kind of ML method you should be using, and what are the different kinds of ML methods, and what are the common use cases which are generally there in ML products, and if at all you should be using ML or not. So I think if you, just try to absorb all this knowledge and set yourself a target for 2, 3 months and take like 1 or 2 of these courses. So I think you should be in a very good position to be at least able to clear the interviews and everything. So that is on, the interviewing part. And then when it comes to sort of like, just being able to build your portfolio, because, in the interviews, people may ask that, hey, what is your past experience with AI ML products and stuff? And if you haven't been an AI ML product manager, then, it's a bit difficult to answer that question. So to overcome that, you can sort of like, there are many such, data, projects which are there on freelancing websites, like, on Upwork. So you can sign up on Upwork, and then, there will be so many people who need someone to sort of work, on their data product or work on their ML product. So you can start out by managing those products and, like, being able to do a lot of user research and try to identify, like, where we should apply ML, whether we should not apply ML. So, basically to build your freelance portfolio, you can sign up on Upwork and a couple of other places. And people are obviously very much like wanting people who have some experience. And in general, on freelance websites, it's easy to get those projects because in general, the startups which are there on Upwork, they are like very early stage, so they don't really have that much of they can't invest so much money on someone who's very expensive. So they need someone to just work for like 1 or 2 months. So then you can work with these early stage startups or these short duration projects. And then once you have that portfolio, so over a span of like 4, 5, 6 months, so definitely in 5, 6 months you will be very well positioned to sort of apply for any AI and MLPM role, because you would have done the course from Coursera or Udemy, so you have all the theory knowledge, and then you would have done 1 or 2 important projects to build your portfolio. So I think that is one of the pathways. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Ash. The Coursera aspect, we actually, a group of us that are product managers that are training, we actually went there and we saw one of the courses. But one of my colleagues then ran away because she was like, the mathematics in it was a lot. But I understand that if you really want to do AI, you need to be comfortable with the data aspect as well. So thank you so much for all the insights. So now that we are now the AI PM, if you must, how does AI help us as product managers in the product development area?
Yes. So, a couple of things on how you as a PM can sort of apply AI, in your everyday job. So, if you are a PM, like one of the main things, for example, AI or OpenAI or ChatGPT can help you do is that do a lot of market research and gather a lot of customer insights. So for example, if I am in an edtech startup and now we are wanting to sort of launch a new product, for example, or a new specialized line of products, then ChatGPT, and especially the paid version of ChatGPT, can help me a lot to sort of collect a lot of information from online and tell me what the users are saying on, like, for example, Google reviews, or what the users are saying on Trustpilot and all those websites. And then it can help you decide that, okay, if I'm an edtech startup and these 3-4 are my competitors, then these 3-4 competitors are doing bad and good in these particular areas. That okay, people generally love this thing about that other product, but people generally hate that thing about that other product. Maybe the product is very expensive, or maybe the product is not available in certain geographies and stuff like that. So in that way, you can sort of understand what people are wanting to buy, what are their preferences. And then it also helps you find out that in your competitors, or in the other products, what are the good things about them which you can implement in your product, and what are the bad things on which you can sort of win those customers, because you can play that card and be able to win those customers. So all those things, AI helps to a very large extent. And then if you sort of now suppose that you suppose you are already an AI PM, so then you can sort of develop internal products which help you personalize user journey, and you can modify the whole user experience based on what the customers prefer and what is their behavior and everything. So if you take an example of suppose Duolingo. So Duolingo is an online learning app. So, for example, if I'm a PM and I need to sort of ensure that, I see that, okay, my users are they sign up, but they are not coming back, and they just sign up once and they are never returning or something. or like, they don't use my app very frequently. So what can I do about it? So what I can do is that here, if I am already an AI PM, I can sort of make use of a lot of data and then be able to
Yeah.
see that, what are the preferences of these people and what do they like and what are their dislikes, and like, what times of the day do they log in and everything. So, those kind of things are very minor, but like, they make a lot of difference. So for example, if you take a website like Coursera, so if you are a PM, then Coursera needs to recommend you, courses
PM
which are
courses.
relevant to you, related to growth, related to PM, related to growth, related to slightly tech or data and everything. But if Coursera suddenly recommends me some really different courses, then that's not going to be a great experience for the user and stuff like that. So, and so like, it can help a lot with just being able to personalize the user experience. So that is, one of the main use cases of AI and most common one. And then second, and just the last part on this is that like, it can also help you predict user behavior. So for example, if you have a subscription app where people like Netflix, where you can subscribe on a monthly basis, now you can sort of analyze that user behavior and predict that, okay, out of these, all my customers, these 10% of the customers have a very high chance that in the next month they are going to cancel the subscription. So AI and ML can sort of help you identify these customers that, okay, these are the customers who have not used Netflix during the whole month and they have not used Netflix even during the last month. So it is very highly likely that next month they're going to cancel the subscription. So then, what Netflix can do is that Netflix can sort of intervene and say that, hey, okay, if your subscription was, maybe like $10, then we can make it $5 for you for now. So, those kind of interventions can help in predicting, user behavior a lot. So I think these a couple of things are like, how a non-AI PM and an AI PM can do at their job.
Thank you. It's so insightful because we already know how beautiful Netflix is. Yeah, sometimes you just sign up and it already gives you the option that you want to watch based on all that they've already collected about you. So thank you so much, Ash. Any advice for new PMs who want to specialize? Any trip?
Yeah, so I think just like a couple of advices which I will say is that, like, first of all, don't be scared of like, because whenever we start doing any ML course, there are like so many, weird symbols and so much math. So first of all, we should not be discouraged by any of that. And because like, as a PM, you don't really need to know all the math and everything. You just need to know when to use what. Because like, that's the main difference between a PM and an engineer. An engineer will tell you how to do something. They will actually execute the thing. And a PM knows what to build and why to build it. So PMs are more about like, the what and the why. And engineers are more about like the how. So even if you are like, not fluent in like TensorFlow or Python or any of the ML math, that is totally fine because you don't need to ever, would like need to write code actually or something like that, except maybe in some companies, but like in general, you don't need to write the code or do the math. So that's not needed. So please don't be discouraged, first of all, just if ML looks scary or something. And then like, what I will suggest is that keep a target of like 5-6 months. And during that, do any 2 data-based or AI-based or ML-based freelance projects. 2 of them should be fine. And then take like a proper, AI for PM course or data for PMs course. There are a couple of good ones which are available on Coursera and Udemy. So you can check that out as well. So I think that would be my advice. And then if you are a PM who is not in AI right now, so you can sort of improve your everyday work experience by sort of like, using AI to do a lot of market research and just analyzing the competitors. Or if you
Okay.
want, you can use AI just for generating ideas and stuff, or to gather some customer insights and everything. So yeah, I think that would just be my suggestion.
Thank you so much, Ash. I hope you all learned a thing or two. AI in product management is something that a lot of people are interested in now because of the blowout of AI. So hopefully the tips that were shared in this episode will help you achieve your goal of becoming an AI product manager. As always, you can send your DMs, you can send your questions, anything to Spotify or LinkedIn, whichever platform you prefer. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Ash. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, Naya. Thanks, everyone. See you all.